Hi students, my name is Johan. I'm the captain of the AJ Meerwald, and just wanted to show you my boat. Unfortunately, we're not sailing. We don't know when we'll be sailing, but at least we can spend some time together and do what sailors used to always do, which was share stories. I've got my book here called The Greatest Captain in the World. It is not about me, just so you know. And I'm going to read that to you guys, and if you like it, well, check out The Greatest Captain in the World too. It's also got really amazing stories, really awesome. And I'm sure your teachers can let you know where to get it if you want to get a copy. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and I will read you my book. The Greatest Captain in the World, written by me, but not about me. Stories by Joel Rood. Joel Rood's an amazing storyteller. When you hear the stories in the book, understand that Joel told them on the very first try. He improvised them. And they didn't have to do a second time. Pretty amazing. And illustrations by Andy Catling. As you can see, he's a really great illustrator. So here we go, The Greatest Captain in the World. In a town by the shore near a seaside store, a family from the country walked by. The parents wished to shop as the children did stop to stare at the masts in the sky. Now the masts are those things right there. That's what the sails are attached to. Dad said, "Go along, we won't be long." Oh. Great. Not used to having an interactive camera there. Dad said, "Go along, we won't be long, and let us know when you're through. But don't trust the seamen and the yarns they're a-weaving, for none of their stories are true." So they raced to a ship just back from a trip all tied to the great big dock, when they spied an old sailor trying to be a tailor as he sewed up the end of his sock. He eyed them with a sneer as the children stood in fear and asked, "What are you on about?" They said, "We don't know," and so turned to go, when the sailor stood up with a shout. "Now don't you go, you'll never know why our captain's the greatest in the world. So change your tack and come on back, and I'll set your mind a whirl." Once the squall tore away the ship's rigging and masts, with no way to sail on, we were sure not to last. But our captain was calm, he showed no fear. He just smiled and tugged at his port side ear. Then he tugged on the other and stretched them both out, till the crew joined in with a heave and a shout. They were stretched 3 times around the whole ship, when our captain let fly with a twirl and a flip. And wouldn't you know it, those ears caught a gust, and the bow shot ahead with a surge and a thrust. One other sailor stated, "So it's yarns you want to hear? Well, I've got a story that makes every sailor cheer. One time, our captain set foot on dry land, a stranger experience he never did have. For the ground he was on when it move or budge, not with a kick nor a hearty nudge. Then along came a critter that slithered across his path, boldly risking our great captain's wrath. What a thing to see this slug on the ground. They stared at each other, not making a sound. Then with a fizzle, the slug melted in a haze. This was the power of our captain's salty gaze. Down came a shipmate trying to top the other two. Well, how about the time our captain saved the crew? We're out in the ocean, whaling at the time, when this wave comes to sink us and take us in our prime. Now most would have cowered, maybe tried to steer away, but not our captain. No sir, no way. He ran from the tiller to the boat's bluff bow, took in a breath of air with a deep-throated growl. He puffed out his cheeks like a whale gulping krill, then blasted out air with a force and a will. He blew a big hole in the middle of that wave. He sailed on through it, and so we were saved. A small, slender sailor jumped in from the rail. Now here's a tale that'll make you go pale. Why, you never heard tell of a wave so high it snuffed out the sun, blotting out the whole sky. The captain called out, "Batten down the hatches, below deck's crew, and secure those latches." With that, he raced to the ship's starboard side, yanked the anchor off the rail, and took a big dive. He pulled down the ship, swimming under the wave. When we got back to the surface, we knew we were saved. In the log, he later wrote, "Wave headed our direction, but now steering true, after a slight course correction." Another tar appeared. He was tall, big around. "Well, I've got a story that'll knock you to the ground. We once saw a flag with skull and crossbows white, flying from a ship that was looking for a fight. The pirates were coming for gold to plunder, shooting at our boat to split her asunder. They want us all to reach for the sky, but our captain didn't care. He was staring at a fly. He snapped up that pest with his fathom-long tongue, then spat it at the pirates just for fun. The fly shot into their ship so rotten, blasted clean through, and sank her to the bottom." One other sailor showed, shoulder and a gun. The story's not through. It's only just begun. On a blood-red dawn, we saw a pirate fleet, hundreds of ships in rows so neat. Now it was certain we were all going to die when our captain uncrinkled his one crinkly eye. The pirates just stared in true disbelief. The colors of that eye gave them such grief. A prettier sight they never would see, no treasure in the world could give them more glee. They say they stayed forever in their den, never yearning for jewels nor gold again. Soon the last of the crew sauntered up to the crowd. Well, mine's a tale that makes us proud. Our cab would lower his boat in the morning, put his thumb in the water without any warning. We said to the captain, "That isn't so great." Says he, "I'll stop, and now let's wait." And so we stared 2 hours or more, trying to figure out what the wait was for. When up came all the monsters of the deep, a glaring and a groaning, and not a one asleep. The captain yelled to each and every one, "It's time you grow up! No more sucking on my thumb." And when the sailors gathered round, came a horrific sound as the mate began to bark and spit. "Avast your yarns, and this I warns, our captain's bringing the cargo on a ship." The sailors towed the line in record time as the children went back to their folks. They told what they'd heard, every single word, but the parents said those stories were just jokes. Their imaginations roam, now let us go home, as the wagon went clackety-clack. And as the children looked and as the road began to wind, the children looked behind to see that great captain with the supply ship on his back. The end. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. Thank you so much for your time, and hope you enjoyed it. And keep writing. I really hope you learned to love writing and reading as much as I did. I started when I was maybe 4th or 5th grade was when I discovered, oh, I really enjoy writing. I never thought I'd be a children's book author, but you never know what the future will bring. It's pretty amazing. So stick with it, and yeah, enjoy your time away from school. Bye.